Olympic Games, the postponed Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. We're at the National Badminton Centre in Milton Keynes in England, and we thank Badminton England for their hosting of the draw today. I'm Howard Bentham, and joining me today to oversee the draw is BWF Events Director Darren Parks, BWF Senior Tournament Series Manager Selvam Subramaniam, BWF Tournament Series Manager Matt Judson, and also joining us to validate the draw is BWF referee Ian Ross. On behalf of the Badminton World Federation, we're very pleased and indeed very proud that today we are hosting the draw for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Once again, we'd like to thank Mike Robinson, Chairman of Badminton England, and Adrian Christie, Chief Executive of Badminton England, and his team led by Chris Miller, Head of Major Events, including Martin Haxton, helping us on the IT system for their kind help and assistance in staging the draw here today. We also have special guests who are joining us to help with the draw. Please give a warm welcome to Jack Shepherd and Dan Bethel, who will be representing Paralympics GB at the forthcoming Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. Nora Perry, MBE, BWF Council member and former world champion in women's doubles and mixed doubles. Simon Archer, MBE, who along with the mixed doubles partner Joe Good won Great Britain's first ever Olympic medal back in 2000 with a bronze at the Sydney Olympic Games. And joining us is Annie Zhu, Badminton England's Young Badminton Volunteer of the Year 2020. A very warm welcome to you all. First, please allow me to explain a little bit about the draw process. Once again, the Olympic badminton competition will be played in its preliminary stages using a group format. We know that this enhances the drama and excitement as each group builds to a climax. We'll make 5 draws today, one for each event. We'll start with the mixed doubles, then on to the women's doubles, then the men's doubles, women's singles, and finally the men's singles. For each event, we'll have some top-seeded players who are placed rather than drawn into their pre-allocated positions as per the Olympic competition regulations, with the majority of players seeded and non-seeded being drawn into position. So for example, in both the men's and women's singles, the top seed will be placed into Group A at the top of the draw, and the second seed will go into the bottom of the draw in Group P. Where there are players from the same National Olympic Committee in an event, in the first and second ranked players from that NOC have to go into different groups, but they can be drawn into the same half of the draw. To ensure this separation, where we have players from the same NOC, we will draw or place them first before the other seeded players, starting with the highest seeds. The seedings shown is as per regulations, and the seedings of the 15th of June 2021 at the end of the Olympic qualification period. The draw procedure is the same as at Rio 2016 in the men's singles, where we have 42 players. These will be divided into 14 groups of 3 players. In the women's singles, we have 43 players, and these will be distributed into 13 groups of 3 and 1 group of 4 players. For each doubles event, there will be 4 groups of 4 pairs. So ladies and gentlemen, we're of course very pleased that we have our distinguished guests here who've kindly agreed to help us undertake the draw today, and we'll invite the first of them to join us on the stage in just a moment. We have 2 draw boxes, as you can see alongside me on the table here. On my right, that box contains the balls with the players or pairs of players' names, and the second box contains the balls which have in them letters to denote the groups that the player or pair will be drawn into. And first we're going to start with the mixed doubles. So please welcome the first of our guests who will draw the groups for all of the doubles events. Show your appreciation for BWF Council member and former world champion Nora Perry, MBE. Welcome, Nora. And joining Nora will be Simon Archer, MBE, who in addition to that first ever medal for Great Britain at the Olympic Games, also won the Yonex All England Open back in 1999, also with Joe Good. And Simon will be drawing the players' names. Simon, come and join us, please. So the top seeds in the mixed doubles are placed at the top of Group A. And the top seeds from China, Cheng Siwei and Hua Yaqiong, they're placed into Group A, the 2018 and 2019 world champions. The second seeds are then placed in the opposite half of the draw into Group D. And the second seeds, also from China, Huang Yi Liu and Huang Dongping, and they're placed into Group D, the bronze medalists at the World Championships. Now we come to the third and fourth seeds. Our third seeds from Thailand are Dechapol Purvaranukroh and Sapsiri Teyaratanachai. And the fourth seeds are from Indonesia, Praveen Jordan and Melati Deva Octavianti. They will go into the vacant spaces in Group B and Group C. Simon, let's have a look at the pairs you've drawn first. And it is Thailand's Dechapol Purvaranukroh and Sapsiri Teyaratanachai. They'll be in Group B. Group B. And confirmation should be of our number 4 seeds. Indonesia's Praveen Jordan and Melati Deva Octavianti into Group C. So none of our remaining pairs are from the same NOC as a pair already placed. That means we can draw the remaining 12 pairs. So Selvam and Mats will be now sorting out the red and white balls to go into the respective boxes. Let me just take you through the list of players to be drawn. The 12 pairs are home favourites Yuta Watanabe and Arisa Higashino of Japan, Korea's Seo Sung-jae and Chae Yu-jung, Malaysia's Rio 2016 silver medalists Chan Peng-soon and Go Liu-ying, Great Britain's Marcus Ellis and Lauren Smith, Tang Chun-man and Si Ying-suet of Hong Kong, China, Tom Gikel and Delphine Deroux of France, Robin Tabeling and Selena Peek of the Netherlands, Mark Lamsfoos and Isabel Hertrich of Germany, Matthias Christiansen and Alexandra Boyer of Denmark, Joshua Hulbert Yu and Josephine Wu of Canada, Adam Hatem El Gamal and Doha Hani of Egypt, and finally Simon Wing Hang Leung and Goronia Somerville of Australia. So our referee happy that we have the requisite number of balls and players' names in the box. There's no stopping Nora. She's already grabbed one. We're just waiting for the last of the players. Give them a swirl around, Simon. And let's see who's first out of the box. And it is Germany's Mark Lamsfuss and Isabel Hertrich into Group D. Group D. Yes, select away. Next we have Hong Kong, China's Tang Chun-man and Si Ying-suet into Group D. Group D filling up already. China, Germany and Hong Kong, China represented. You can do this, Simon. Come on. Big, strong boy. You can do this. From the Netherlands, Robin Tabeling and Selena Peek into Group A alongside the number 1 seeds, Jiang and Huang. Next it's Japan's Yuta Watanabe and Arisa Higashino into Group C alongside the number 4 seeds from Indonesia. Have a good swirl around at the bottom of the box. Korea's Seo Sung-jae and Chae Yu-jung into Group A. So just one space available in Group A alongside the number 1 seeds. Next, it's France's Tom Gikel and Delphine Deroux into Group B alongside the Thai pairing. From Denmark, Matthias Christiansen and Alexandra Boyer into Group C. A very competitive looking Group C with Indonesia, Japan and Denmark represented. Egypt's Adam Hatem El Gabal and Doha Hani into Group A, taking the vacant spot in that group. Malaysia's Chan Peng Soon and Go Liu Ying into Group D, taking the fourth spot at the bottom of the draw. Just 3 balls left to select and 3 spaces on the draw awaiting. Great Britain's Marcus Ellis and Lauren Smith into Group B. Great Britain, France and Thailand in Group B. Penultimate ball for the mixed doubles draw. It's Canada's Joshua Hurlbut-Yu and Josephine Wu into Group B. Top 2 pairings, of course, in each group going through to the knockout stages in the doubles events. And finally, Simon Wing Hang Leung and Gronya Somerville of Australia into the last place, which is in Group C. Group C for the Australians. So thank you very much, Nora and Simon. Do stay with us. Let me just recap the mixed doubles draws. Let's have a look at Group A, the top seeds. And 2018-2019 world champions, Zheng and Huang, with Netherlands' Robin Tabeling and Selena Peak, Korea's Xiao and Che, and the Egyptian pairing of Adam Hatem El Gamal and Doha Hani. In Group B, the number 3 seeds from Thailand, silver medalists at the 2019 World Championships, Dechapol Puavaranukro and Sapsiri Teo Ratanachai, joined by Tom Guiquel and Delphine Delroux of France, Britain's Marcus Ellis and Lauren Smith, and Canada's Joshua Hurlbut-Yu and Josephine Wu. A glance at Group C. Took a very, very competitive group, this. Indonesia's Praveen Jordan, Malati Deva, Octavianti, the number 4 seeds, joined by Yuta Watanabe and Arisa Higashino of Japan, Matthias Christensen and Alexandra Boyer of Denmark, and Australia's Simon Wing, Hang Leung and Gronya Somerville. And just to complete the mixed doubles draw in Group D, the number 2 seeds, the bronze medalists at the 2019 World Championships, Wang and Huang, joined by Germany's Lamsfuss and Herzrich, Hong Kong China's Tang and Si, and Malaysia's Chang Pen Soon and Go Liu Ying, Rio silver medalists, of course, back in 2016. So Nora and Simon are going to stay with us for our next event, which is the women's doubles. So I'll just clear the screen onto the women's doubles, as you can see, and same process here, where the top seeds are placed at the top of Group A, and the top seeds are Yuki Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota of Japan. They should go into Group A at the top of the draw, runners-up at the 2018-2019 World Championships. And the second seeds go in the opposite half of the draw into Group D. China's Chen Qing-chen and Jia Yifan into Group D, 2017 World Champions in Glasgow. And now we come to the third and fourth seeds. Mayu Matsumoto and Wakana Nagahara of Japan, and Lee So-hee and Shin Song-chan of Korea. They can go into the vacant spaces in Group B and C. We will draw these balls. You're making it look easy now, Simon. Japan's Mayu Matsumoto and Wakana Nagahara are out of the box, and Nora has selected Group B. Group B for the number 3 seeds from Japan. World champions in 2018 and 2019. And the 4th seeds in the women's doubles from Korea, Lee So-hee and Shin Sung-chan into Group C. Now, among our remaining pairs, we have a pair, Kim So-young and Kong Hee-young, who are from Korea, as are the number 4 seeds, Lee and Shin. So they have to go into a different group. So they cannot go into Group C. So that means that Kim So-young and Kong Hee-young must go into either Group A, B or D. And Selvam Subramaniam is just making sure that it has the right groupings to go into the box for Nora Perry to select. We're getting the nod from our BWF referee Ian Ross. A fine swirl of those big red balls. And what do we find? It is Group D. Group D, joining the number 2 seeds from China for Kim and Kong. We also have another pair in our remaining pairs who are from the same NOC as one of our top 4 seeds. The Chinese pairing of Du Yue and Li Yinhui. So we need to place this pair next, as they cannot go into the same group as our second seeds, Chen Qingchen and Jia Yifan. So we cannot have in the box for the groupings Group D, so it needs to be A, B or C. And again, just confirming this with our BWF referee, Ian Ross. All part of the competition regulations. The speed of this guy's work is amazing. Well done, Selvam. Thank you. So this is for Du Yue and Li Yinhui of China, who will be playing in Group C alongside the number 4 seeded Korean pair. So now we have 10 pairs left and 10 places in the women's doubles draw. And the 10 balls containing their names will go into the box. I'll just take you through the list as Matt and Selvam load the boxes. We have Bulgaria's Gabriela and Stefani Stoeva, the reigning European champions. Indonesia's Gracia Poli and Apriani Rahayu. Thailand's Jongkolpan Kittit and Rawinda Pragjongjai. Malaysia's Chow Mei Huan and Lee Meng Yan. Denmark's Maiken Fruegaard and Sarah Thursson. Great Britain's Chloe Birch and Lauren Smith. Netherlands' Selena Peek and Cheryl Synan. Canada's Rachel Hondrich and Christian Sai. Australia's Setiana Mapasa and Gronya Somerville. And finally, Egypt's Doha Hani and Hadia Hosni. Thank you, Matt, for giving them a swirl. We'll just wait for those groupings to find their way into the box. Should be 10 balls in each of the boxes. Selvam just loading up the groups, giving them a little swirl. And in dives Simon and Nora. So let's start filling up these spaces in the women's doubles draw. Denmark's Maiken Fruegaard and Sarah Thursson selected into Group C. Group C for the Danes, alongside the number 4 seed from Korea, Lee and Shin. And the Chinese pairing of Du and Lee. Next. Indonesia's Gracia Poli and Apriani Rahayu into Group A with the top seeds from Japan. Top 2 from each group through to the knockout stages, of course, in the doubles events. Australia's Setiana Mapasa and Gronya Somerville into Group C, completing the lineup for Group C. Great Britain's Chloe Birch and Lauren Smith into Group A with the number 1 seeds and Rahayu and Poli of Indonesia. From Malaysia, Chow Mei Kuan and Lee Meng Yan into Group A. So Group A completed. Very competitive group in the women's doubles at the top of the draw. So spaces in Group B and Group D awaiting our remaining players. Egypt's Doha Hani and Hadia Hosni will be in Group B with the number 3 seeds from Japan. 4 balls left. Canada's Rachel Hondrick and Kristin Tsai are in Group B. Next out of the draw is Thailand's Jongkolpan Kittiharakul and Rawinda Pragjongjai into Group D. Group D. At the bottom of the draw with the number 2 seed. So 2 balls left. The penultimate one in the women's doubles. Simon and Nora armed with a ball each. It's Netherlands' Selena Peek and Cheryl Synan into Group B. Group B. And the one remaining place and the one remaining pair. The ball is in there somewhere, Nora. Yeah. And it's the reigning European champions, Bulgaria's Gabriela and Stefani Stoeva into Group D. Group D. So let's just recap the women's draw, the women's doubles draw. Group A, number 1 seeds. At the top of the draw, Sayaka Hirota and Yuki Fukushima, joined by Indonesia's Apriani Rahayu and Gracia Poli, Great Britain's Chloe Birch and Lauren Smith, and Malaysia's Chow Mei Kuan and Lee Meng Yan. In Group B, the number 3 seeds from Japan, world champions in 18 and 19, Matsumoto and Nagahara, joined by Egypt's Doha Hani and Hadia Hosni, Canada's Christian Tsai and Rachel Hondrick, and the Netherlands' Cheryl Synan and Selena Peek. In Group C, Lee and Shin of Korea, the number 4 seeds, joined by Du Yue and Lee Yin-hui of China, Maiken Fruergaard and Sarah Toyson of Denmark, and Gronya Somerville and Setiana Mapasa of Australia. And at the bottom of the draw, it's the number 2 seeds from China, the 2017 world champions, Chen Qingchen and Jia Yifan, in the company of Kim So-yong and Kong Hee-yong of Korea, Thailand's Jongkolpan Kittiharakul and Rawinda Pragjongjai, and the European champions, Gabriela and Stefani Stoeva of Bulgaria. Thank you very much again to Nora and Simon. Nora, you're going to stay with us for the next draw. Simon, thank you very much for your part that you've played, sir. So take your seat. And we'll move on to the men's doubles draw. We're going to be joined by Annie Zhu, who was the Badminton England Young Badminton Volunteer of the Year last year. Annie, come and join us and help make the draw. There we go. Thank you. Now, the top seeds in the men's doubles draw, again, are placed at the top of the draw in Group A. And it's Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo into Group A. And as we're getting used to the process now, I'm sure, that means that the second seeds, Hendra Satiowan and Mohamed Hassan of Indonesia, are placed into Group D. Hendra Satiowan, of course, could become the first badminton player in Olympic history to medal 13 years apart if he reaches the podium in Tokyo. He won doubles gold with the late Marcus Kido at Beijing in 2008. We come to the third and fourth seeds, and the boxes are already loaded. The number 3 seeds from China, Li Zhenhui and Liu Yuchen. The number 4 seeds from Japan, Hiroyuki Endo and Yuta Watanabe, will go into B or C. The Japanese pairing are drawn first. Hiroyuki Endo and Yuta Watanabe will be playing in Group B. Group B. Our number 4 seeds. Annie making it look easier than Simon Archer. China's Li Junhui and Liu Yuchen into Group C. Bronze at the World Championships in 2019, World Champions in 2018. So we now move through to the next part of this, where we have one pair from the same NOC, Salvam and Matt, and it's Takeshi Kimura and Keigo Sonoda. Just confirm the name of the athletes, please. They must go into a different group from the 4th seeds. So Group B, Hiroyuki Endo and Yuta Watanabe. So it's A, C, and D. So Salvam Subramaniam, just loading the group balls into place for Nora to select where our Japanese pairing will play. It's either going to be A, C or D. It is Group C, along with the number 3 seeds from China. So that means we now have 11 remaining men's doubles pairs. Selvin just emptying the box so that we have the correct number of balls. 11 men's doubles pairs and 11 men's doubles groupings. Chinese Taipei's Li Yang and Wang Chi Li. Korea's Choi Sol-gyu and Xiao Song-jae. India's Satwiksari Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty. Malaysia's Aranchia and So Woo-yik. From Denmark, Kim Astrup and Anders Skarup Rasmussen. From Germany, Mark Lamsfuss and Marvin Seidel. Representing the Russian Olympic Committee, Vladimir Ivanov and Ivan Sozunov. Great Britain's Ben Lane and Sean Vendy. Canada's Jason Anthony Ho Shu and Niall Yakure. USA's Philip and Ryan Chu. And finally from Nigeria, Godwin Olufua and Anu Oluwapu Juan Opeyuri. So we have the players' balls loaded into the white box, the red box being filled by Selvin. Before Annie and Nora are let loose on the draw. A swell, give them a little swell as well, Annie. Just give them a little spin round. Choose a ball, and let's see who the next pair of names in the men's doubles draw. From Malaysia, Aranchia and So Woo-yik into Group D at Tokyo 2020. At the bottom of the draw with the number 2 seeds from Indonesia. From Chinese Taipei, Li Yang, Wang Qilin into Group A, the top of the draw, with the number 1 seeds from Indonesia. Germany's Mark Lamsfuss and Marvin Seidel into Group C. Group C. Plenty to choose from. Korea's Choi Sol-gyu and Xiao Song-jae into Group D. Some mouth-watering matchups already in the men's doubles. Let's see who's next. United States of America, Philip and Ryan Chu into Group C, completing the 4 pairings in that group. Great Britain's Ben Lane and Sean Vendy are in Group A. Group A with the number 1 seeds and Li and Wang from Chinese Taipei. From India, Satwik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty into Group A. It's a powerful group at the top of the draw. Next out is Canada's Jason Anthony Ho Shu and Niall Yakure into Group D. So that leaves 3 balls, 3 spaces in Group B. Joining the number 4 seeds from Japan are Denmark's Kim Astrup and Anders Skarup Rasmussen into Group B. Penultimate ball in the men's doubles. That pairing representing the Russian Olympic Committee is Vladimir Ivanov and Ivan Sozunov. Group B confirmation. Finally, nice to see that is Group B. It's the Nigerian pairing of Godwin Olafua and Anu Oluwapu Juwon Opeyori to complete the men's doubles draw. Thank you very much. If I can just say thank you very much to Annie and to Nora, and if you can put your hands together and thank them, please. If you'd like to return to your seats. And I'll recap the men's doubles draws. Thank you very much, both. In Group A, this looks a very, very powerful group indeed. Top seeds, Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo and Marcus Fanoldi Gideon of Indonesia. Lee and Wang of Chinese Taipei. Great Britain's Ben Lane and Sean Vendy. And India's Chirag Shetty and Satwik Sairaj Ranki Reddy. Group B, the number 4 seeds from Japan, Hiroyuki Endo and Yuta Watanabe, joined by Anders Skarup Rasmussen and Kim Astrup. Representing the Russian Olympic Committee, Ivan Sozanov and Vladimir Ivanov, and Nigeria's Anu Oluwapu, Juwon Opeyori and Godwin Olafua. Group C, with the number 3 seeds, the 2018 World Champions Li and Liu of China, joined by Keigo Tsunoda and Takeshi Kimura, who were of course runners-up in the 2018 World Championships. Mark Lamsfuss and Marvin Seidel of Germany, and Philip and Ryan Chu of the USA. And at the bottom of the group, bottom of the draw, the Group D, with the number 2 seeds, Hendra Setiawan and Mohamed Hassan, Malaysia's Aran Chia and So Woo Yik, Choi Sol Gyu and Seo Sung Jae of Korea. And fourth pairing in that group, Jason Anthony Ho Shu and Niall Yakura, completing the groupings for the men's doubles at Tokyo 2020. Well, we're going to move on to the women's singles next, and then we'll of course follow that with the men's singles. In the women's singles, just to mark your card, there are 43 players, which translates into 13 groups of 3 and 1 group of 4 players in this event. Also, you'll notice that on the screen, if we can head to the women's singles template, that there is no Group B and no Group O on the screen. With 14 groups, these places are byes in the next round as per the competition regulations. So please welcome our next special guests. Jack Shepherd, the 2017 World Para Badminton Champion in men's singles as well as in men's doubles, and Dan Bethel, a 3-times European champion, both of whom have qualified to represent Paralympics GB at the forthcoming Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games, where badminton, of course, makes its debut, and they'll assist us with making the singles draws today. Please welcome Jack and Dan. So we're going to start with the women's singles draw. Just a reminder that we have 13 groups of 3, 1 group of 4 players, which will be Group P at the bottom of the draw. So as I explained, the top seed goes into the top of the draw at Group A. And Dan, it's Chen Yufei of China, just confirming it's Group A. Thanks, Jack. And we can see on the screen, Chen Yufei, the number 1 seed, bronze medalist in the 2019 World Championship, at the top of the draw. We also need to place our second seed. She goes into the opposite half of the draw, and it's Chinese Taipei's Tai Tzu Ying into Group P. That, of course, is the group with 4 players. We now come to our 3 and 4 seeds. The third seed is the 2017 World Champion from Japan, Nozomi Okuhara. The 4th seed is also from Japan, Akane Yamaguchi. And they can go into either Group E or Group L. So Dan, you've selected Japan's Nozomi Okuhara. And Jack has selected Group E. Group E for Nozomi Okuhara. So confirmation of our number 4 seed. Also from Japan. This is Akane Yamaguchi, and she's in Group L. Thank you, gents. We now come to the players seeded 5 through and to 8. and 4 players to place at this stage. The 2013 World Champion Ratchanok Intanon of Thailand, 2019 World Champion Pasalavi Sindhu of India, An Se-young of Korea, and He Bingjiao of China. So 4 players, names going into 4 white balls. Matt Judson just making sure they are firmly put together. Salvam has the 4 balls in there with their groups. Now they can go into either group C, G, J or N. Our BWF referee Ian Ross watching closely. He's happy with what he's seeing. So select away please, gentlemen. And it is India's Pasalavi Sindhu into Group J. Silver medalist in Rio in 2016. Group J for Pasalavi Sindhu. China's He Bingjiao into Group G. Thank you, Chad. Group G for He Bingjiao, number 8 seed, into Group G. Korea's An Se-young into Group C. Group C for Korea's An Se-young. And just 1 ball left in this part of the draw. And thanks, Dan. It's Thailand's Ratchanok Intanon into Group N. Group N for Ratchanok Intanon, the number 5 seed. So we now come to seeds 9 through to 14. And that's number of seeds corresponds to the number of groups, as I'm sure you've probably figured out from looking at the screen. So 14 seeds, 14 groups. We've got 6 groups remaining and 6 seeds that need to be placed at this stage of the draw. And they can go into groups D, F, H, I, K and M. And the players to be selected are Michelle Lee of Canada, Busanan Ongbam Rungpan of Thailand, Baewin Chang of USA, Kim Gai-un of Korea, Mia Blichfeldt of Denmark, and Gregoria Mariska Tunjung of Indonesia. Just give them a little swirl in the box there, just make sure they're nicely mixed up, and select a ball apiece, gentlemen. So our remaining seeds finding homes for Tokyo 2020. Indonesia's Gregoria Mariska Tunjung into Group M. Group M for Tunjung of Indonesia. Thailand's Busanan Ongbam Rungpan into Group D. Group D, number 10 seed. You two working as a great team here. It's Korea's Kim Gai-un into Group K. Group K for Kim Gai-un. 3 more players to select. 3 more seeds need a group. And it's Denmark's Mia Blichfeldt into Group I. Group I for Denmark's Mia Blichfeldt, the number 13 seed at Tokyo 2020. Reach in, chaps. Yep. That's it. Got it. Canada's Michelle Lee is in Group F. Group F for Michelle Lee of Canada, the number 9 seed. And 1 more seed needs a home. It should be Group H. And it's USA's Baewin Chang in Group H. So all of our seeded players now have a group. We come to the remaining players in the women's singles draw. We have a further 29 players, and they'll now go into the draw box. So we'll await Matt and Selvum with the balls for the players and the groupings. We'll draw all the players randomly into the women's draw. Remember, it's 4 players in Group P at the bottom of the draw. Let me take you through the list of players who are in the draw, representing the Russian Olympic Committee: Evgenia Kozetskaya, Singapore's Yao Jia-min, Great Britain's Kirsty Gilmore, Malaysia's Sonia Chia, Neslihan Yigit of Turkey, Cheong Ngan Yi of Hong Kong, China, France's Chi Xue-fei, Germany's Yvonne Li, Lian Tan of Belgium, Vietnam's Toi Lin Nguyen, from Switzerland, Sabrina Jacquet, Israel's Ksenia Polikarpova, Estonia's Christine Kuba, from Myanmar, Tet Ta Tuzar, Egypt's Doha Hani, Hungary's Laura Sarosi, from Bulgaria, Linda Zechiri, Australia's Suan Yu Wendy Chen, from Brazil, Fabiana Silva, from Peru, Daniela Macias, Nigeria's Dorcas Ajoki Adesokan, Slovakia's Martina Rapiska, Mexico's Haramara Gaitan, Ukraine's Maria Ulatina, Clara Azomendi of Spain, Nikta Alejandra Sotomayor of Guatemala, from Iran, Soraya Aga Aga, Pakistan's Mahmoud Shahzad, and from Maldives, Fatima Nabaha Abdul Razak. So let's load the boxes, gentlemen. 29 players to select. All the balls going neatly in the box. Nearly. Everything going in just as it should do. So Jack will be selecting the groups. Remember, 4 players heading into Group P, with 43 players in the draw. A final swirl from Matt Judson. And chaps, let's select, please, for the women's singles at the badminton competition at Tokyo 2020. From Malaysia, Sonia Chia into Group N. Group N. Alongside the number 5 seed from Thailand, Ratchanok Intanon. Bulgaria's Linda Zechiri into Group I. Group I for Linda Zechiri. Got some work to do here, chaps. Hong Kong, China's Cheong Ngan Yi into Group J. Group J. Alongside the Rio silver medalist Pasalavi Sindhu. From Guatemala, Nikta Alejandra Sotomayor into Group F. Group F for Sotomayor of Guatemala. From Singapore, Yao Jia-min into Group K. Group K for Singapore's Yao Jia-min. Great Britain's Kirsty Gilmore into Group L. Group L for Kirsty Gilmore of Great Britain, with the number 4 seed Akane Yamaguchi. From Vietnam, Toi Lin Nguyen into Group P at the bottom of the draw with Tai Tzu Ying of Chinese Taipei. Group with 4 players, of course. Next out of the box, from France, Chi Chue-Fei into Group P. Group P. Very competitive group already, Group P. One more place, of course, still to select in that group. Beginning to see the bottom of the box in the women's singles. Mexico's Haramara Gaitan into Group K. Group K. Completing the lineup of 3 there with Kim Gae-eun, the number 12 seed in that group. Next is Estonia's Kristin Kuba into Group D. Thank you, Jack. Group D. Alongside the number 10 seeded Thai. Switzerland's Sabrina Jacquet into Group P. A group of 4 at the bottom of the draw. Completing that lineup. Slovakia's Martina Repiska into Group F. Group F. Getting into a good routine, you two here. Lian Tan of Belgium into Group M. Group M. With the number 14 seed from Indonesia. Let's just grab that. Well done. It's Germany's Yvonne Lee into Group E. Group E for Yvonne Lee of Germany. They're much harder to read when you throw them around, yeah. I find. From Israel, Ksenia Polyakapova into Group J. Thanks, chaps. Completing the Group J lineup. Sindhu and Xiong of Hong Kong, China. Brazil's Fabiana Silva into Group H. Group H. North and South America represented in Group H so far. We continue with the women's singles draw. Maria Ulitina of Ukraine into Group H. Group H for Ulitina of Ukraine. Group H. We'll just wait for confirmation. There it is, Maria Ulitina joining Fabiana Silva and Beiwen Zhang. Hungary's Laura Sarosi into Group N. Group N. Should complete the Group N lineup, headed by Ratchanok Intanon, the number 5 seed. Sonia Chia of Malaysia in that group as well. From Maldives, Fatima Nabaha Abdul Razak will play in Group G. Group G. Alongside the number 8 seed from China, He Bingjiao. Still one more space in that group awaiting. Still nobody joining the top seed at the moment in the draw. Maybe things will change now. From Peru, Daniela Macias into Group D. Group D. Completing that group. Australia's Suan Yu Wendy Chen into Group I. Group I. Joining Mia Blichfeldt and Linda Zechiri in that grouping. Eight names still to fill, representing the Russian Olympic Committee. Evgenia Kozetskaya into Group E. Group E. Egypt's Doha Hani is selected next. And we have somebody in Group A finally. So joining the #1 seed there in Group A, Doha Hani of Egypt. Dan has selected Clara Azurmendi of Spain into Group C. Thank you, Jack, for the group. Group C. Just wait for the confirmation on the screen. Five more players to draw. Just holding fire for a moment because we haven't got confirmation on the screen. Just waiting for the technicals to catch up. So still spaces in Group A, C, and Group M, N and L. Group L featuring Akane Yamaguchi, the #4 seed of Japan, Kirsty Gilmore of Great Britain. Just waiting on the computer system to catch up with us. Group P already selected, Tai Tzu Ying, #2 seed from Chinese Taipei with Toi Lin Nguyen, Chi Xue-Fei of France and Sabrina Jacquet of Switzerland. That's group already selected. Just waiting on the nod from our BWF referee as to whether we can continue.
We can continue, but we'll have to record this manually as well. So
okay.
We'll take that for.
So the decision that's been made is we will continue. It is just a technical issue with the computer at the moment. So we'll record this manually. So on we go. And selecting next, thank you, Dan, it's Turkey's Neslihan Yigit into Group A. Into Group A. Alongside the #1 seed, Chen Yufei, bronze medalist, of course, the World Championships that was last held in 2019. From Myanmar, Het Ta Tuzar into Group M. Group M. Now we have 3 balls left to select. 3 players in the women's singles awaiting a group. Nigeria's Dorcas Ajoka Adesokan into Group C. Group C for the Nigerian player. Iran's Soraya Aga Haji Aga into Group G. Group G. we'll continue. Getting the thumbs up from our referee to continue the draw. Not getting confirmation on the screen, but we can see the wider picture. Pakistan's Mahur Shahzad goes into Group L. Group L for Shahzad of Pakistan. Are we going to get confirmation of that on the screen? We're not. So let's just, that's it. So that should be the last ball and the last name. The computer system is obviously still catching up with itself, so we won't recap the groups at this stage. But thank you, gentlemen. Stay with us because we will move on to the men's singles draw, and hopefully the computer will catch up with us as well. 42 players, which translates into 14 groups of 3. As in the women's singles, there is no Group B or Group O in this part of the draw. Once again, the top seed will go into Group A, and we'll just wait for the balls representing the players and the groups to be delivered by Matt Judson and Salman Subramaniam from the BWF. Ready to load the boxes in just a moment. So we're getting the thumbs up from our referee. We'll continue. So hopefully we can have a blank template and we can all see the empty draw for the men's singles, which is where we need to be. Yep, we're good to go. Okay, so let's again do as we do here with placing the top seed for the men's singles into Group A, and that's Kento Momota of Japan in 2019, current world champion, of course, into Group A. Thank you, gentlemen. The system is now working. That's great news for everybody. And the second seed goes into the bottom half of the draw, Chinese Taipei's Chao Tien Chen into Group P. Group P. We now have seeds 3 and 4 to place. Third seed from Denmark is Anders Antonsen, runner-up at the 2019 World Championships. And the 2017 World Champion Victor Axelsen, also from Denmark. They can go into either Group E or Group L. We've got 2 balls in each box. Gentlemen, would you like to select a group and a player, please, for me? It's Denmark's Victor Axelsen, selected first into Group E. Group E for Victor Axelsen of Denmark, the number 4 seed. You found it. Well done. Dan. Lurking at the corner of the box. And that should be Denmark's Anders Antonsen. Indeed it is, into Group L. Group L. Our referee is happy, which is good news, because we're going to move on to the 5 to 8 seeds now. So 4 players to place into 4 groups. Anthony Sinisuka Jinting of Indonesia, reigning Olympic champion Chen Long of China, Jonathan Christie of Indonesia, and Unkar Long Angus of Hong Kong, China are our 4 players. And they can go into groups C, G, J or N. So just wait for the balls to be loaded. We have our groups, just waiting for our players. Matt Judson putting the last of those balls in. Do you want to give them a little swirl, gents, just to mix them up and select away our next seed and our next group in the men's singles, the last of our draws today. And it is Indonesia's Jonathan Christie into Group G. Group G for Jonathan Christie, the number 7 seed from Indonesia. Hong Kong, China's Unkar Long Angus into Group C. Group C. Indonesia's Anthony Sinisuka Ginting into Group J. Group J. And the last player at this stage of the draw. And confirmation of the group. Thanks, Dan. It's the Olympic champion, China's Chen Long, into Group N. Group N. So now we come to seeds 9 through to 14. And as we did with the women's singles, we have 14 seeds, 14 groups. So that means 6 spaces to fill on the grid at the moment. Into groups D, F, H, I, K and M. The players are Li Zijia of Malaysia, who is the Yonex All England champion back in March. Wang Zhu-wei of Chinese Taipei, Shi Yu-chi of China, Kanta Tsuneyama of Japan, Sai Pranith of India and Kantapon Wangcharoen of Thailand. Selvam, you happy? You got the right number of balls? Matt, happy? Thank you. Gentlemen, select away please. So our remaining seeds, who's out first? The 9 through to 14 seeds. It's Thailand's Kantapon Wangcharoen into Group K. Group K for Thailand's Wangcharoen, the 14 seed at Tokyo 2020. China's Shi Yu-chi into Group H. Group H for Shi Yu-chi of China, seeded 11. Dan has selected Japan's Kanta Tsuneyama into Group I. Group I for Kanta Tsuneyama, the number 12 seed. 3 balls left. 3 spaces in the draw for our seeds. India's Sai Pranith into Group D. Group D for Sai Pranith of India, seed number 13. Next up, Chinese Taipei's Wang Zhu-wei into Group F. Group F. And the last ball at this stage of the draw, the last of our seeds, the vacant Group M. Li Zijia of Malaysia into Group M. Confirmation from Jack that it is indeed Group M for the last of our seeds. Now we come to the remaining players in the men's singles draw. A further 28 players will now be loaded into the box. As if by magic, Matt and Selvam will appear with the trays of balls ready to load the boxes, and each of the 28 players will be drawn randomly, just as we did in the women's singles. The list of players: from Korea, Hyo Hwang-hee; from France, Brice Leverday; Netherlands, Mark Kallio; Singapore, Lo Kian-yu; Brian Yang from Canada; Pablo Abian of Spain; Misha Zilberman of Israel; Igor Coelho of Brazil. For Team GB, it's Toby Penty; Sweden's Felix Berstedt; Guatemala's Kevin Corden in his 4th Olympic Games; Ireland's Nat Newen; for Mexico, Lino Munoz; Finland's Kalle Kaljonen; representing the Russian Olympic Committee, Sergei Sirant; Germany's Kai Schäfer; Azerbaijan's Adi Reski Dwikayo; from Vietnam, Tien Minh Nguyen; from Mauritius, Georges Julien Paul; Estonia's Raul Must; Austria's Luka Rabe; Ukraine's Artem Pochcharov; USA's Timothy Lamb; from Sri Lanka, Niluka Karunaratne; Hungary's Gergely Kraus; from Suriname, Soren Opti; Matthew Abela from Malta; And finally into the draw, representing the IOC refugee team, is Aram Mahmoud. So let's load those balls, gentlemen. 28 players, 28 spaces. Kento Momota sitting at the top of the draw in Group A. Zhou Tianchen of Chinese Taipei, the number 2 seed at the bottom of the draw. Plenty of big guns in this Olympic badminton competition. The last of the players going into the box. You're not happy about that ball, you're just making sure that was all right. A good swirl of the red balls from Selvin. And a good swirl of the players' names as Dan and Jack prepare to draw the first of our players for the remaining part of the men's singles draw. So who will be keeping our seeds company in groups A through to P? Canada's Brian Yang is next out of the box. He's at the bottom of the draw in Group P. Group P for Brian Yang of Canada. Representing the IOC refugee team, Aram Mahmoud into Group G. Group G, alongside Jonathan Christie. Mahmoud plays on the circuit, of course, under the flag of the Netherlands, but selected into the IOC refugee team for the Tokyo Games. Finland's Kalle Kaljonen into Group E. Group E. A Nordic feel, certainly a Scandinavian feel to that group already. Victor Axelsen and Kalle Kaljonen. Denmark and Finland represented. Spain's flag I can see, that means it's Pablo Abian into Group N. Group N. With Chen Long, the number 6 seed from China. Out next, Dan has selected Netherlands' Mark Kallio into Group D. Group D. Joining Sai Pranith, the number 13 seed from India. USA's Timothy Lam into Group A at the top of the draw with Kento Momota, current world champion and number 1 seed for these games. Still a long way down to the bottom of that box. A lot of balls to select, but the next one out is Ireland's Nat Nguyen, who'll be playing in Group F. Group F, with the number 10 seed from Chinese Taipei. Germany's Kai Schäfer into Group K. Group K, joining the number 14 seed from Thailand. From Singapore, Lo Kian Yu into Group G. Thank you, Jack. Group G, completing that lineup with Jonathan Christie and Aram Mahmoud. From Sweden, Felix Burstedt into Group P at the bottom of the draw with Zhou Tianchen and Brian Yang. From France, Brice Leverday into Group M. Group M. Always an exciting player to watch, Brice Leverday. alongside the number 9 seed from Malaysia. Vietnam's Nguyen Tien Minh is selected next into Group L. Group L with the number 3 seed from Denmark, Anders Antonsen. The base of the box is now visible. The draw is filling up. Hungary's Giekeli Kraus into Group J. Thank you, Jack. Group J. Playing with the number 5 seed, Anthony Sinisuka Ginting. Great Britain's Toby Penty into Group K. Group K. With Wang Charun, the 14 seed, and Kai Schäfer of Germany. Korea's Hyo Hwang Hee will play in Group A, completing that 3-man lineup of Momota and Lam at the top of the draw of the men's singles. Azerbaijan's Ade Reski Duikayo into Group L. Group L. Completing that group, headed by Anders Antonsen, the number 3 seed from Denmark. Israel's Misha Zilberman into Group D. Group D, joining Sai Praith and Mark Kallio in Group D. Suriname's Soren Opti into Group H. Group H, joining the number 11 seed Shi Yuqi of China. Sri Lanka's Niluka Karunaratne into Group F. Group F, completing that group. Wang and Nat Nguyen, the 3 players making up Group F in the men's singles. Doing a sterling job, gentlemen. Mauritius and Georges-Julien Paul to play in Group I, alongside Kante Suniyama, the number 12 seed. So that's Group I for Georges-Julien Paul of Mauritius. Brazil's Igor Coelho into Group I as well, completing that grouping. Austria's Luca Raber into Group E, a group with Victor Axelsen and Kalle Kaljonen. Very European feel about that one. Guatemala's Kevin Corden into Group C. Group C, alongside Ng Ka Long Angus of Hong Kong, China, the number 8 seed. And just 5 balls and 5 players to select to 5 different groups. Artem Pochtarov of Ukraine into Group M. Group M for Ukraine's Artem Pochtarov. Lee Zijie and Brice Leverday in that group. Mexico's Lino Munoz into Group C. Munoz joining Kevin Corden and Kailong Angus. The last three names to be drawn for Tokyo 2020. Estonia's Raul Must into Group N. Group N. With Abian and Chen Long. The penultimate ball, the penultimate name, going into either Group J or H, is Malta's Matthew Abela, and it is Group H that Jack has selected. And that should leave us one name into Group J. I'm rather hoping that says J in there, Jack. Otherwise this could be a very long afternoon. Thank you, it is J. And it is representing the Russian Olympic Committee, Sergei Sirant, to complete the draw. Gentlemen, just stay with us because let me recap some of the highlights from this. We won't go through all of the groups, but just a few selected highlights. Group A, as we can see, the number 1 seed, Kento Momota, as Timothy Lam of the USA, and Korea's Heo Hwang Hee in the first stage of the competition. Of course, we'll receive a bye in the second round. The winner of the group will receive a bye in the next stage of the competition, as will the player at the bottom of the group. Let's have a look at Group N. Group N, which is Chen Long, the reigning Olympic champion, 6th seed in Tokyo, with Pablo Abian of Spain and Raul Must. Interesting group. If we can also look at Group E, if that's possible. Victor Axelsen, Kalle Kaljonen and Luca Rabe, all European lineup in Group E. Group K, throw up some interesting names as well. Great Britain's Toby Penty, of course, Kai Schaefer, and the number 14 seed from Thailand, Kantapon Wang Charoen. And let's have a look at the bottom of the draw. Group P, number 2 seed, Chao Tien Chen, up against Brian Yang of Canada and Felix Borestedt of Sweden. Well, that concludes the men's singles draw and indeed our Olympic draw ceremony. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Dan, for your hard work. Perfectly done, I may say so. And also to Nora, Simon and to Annie for your wonderful assistance earlier. It's much appreciated. The men's singles was our final draw. Thank you all for attending. Thank you for watching if you've been watching online, and to our special guests, of course, for assisting us. We look forward to some exciting badminton in just a couple of weeks' time in wonderful Tokyo, when competition finally gets underway. The first matches are on the 24th of July. Enjoy the games.